Hello everybody, and welcome to the next episode of my power rankings. This is actually going to be the final episode of my positional power rankings, but after this I will do a team's power rankings, and there's plenty more to come on the horizon. So anyways, let's dive into it. This is a points-based ranking system, as you probably know by now, where I attempt to rank each position on the various factors that go into individual performance. I've scaled the final totals by 9/10 and routed them to the nearest 0.25 to balance the scores with the other positions. Okay, so getting into it, with the factors we have floor and ceiling, which is how well the player matches up versus other players at their position, assuming unknowns like meta, growth, and attitude go poorly or well. And I rank them 1 through 10, and then make a base score, which is just an aggregate of the floor and ceiling. It's the same as always. For large factors, we have versatility, which is how well the player is able to play various styles of champion and play various roles within the team. For medium factors, we have AD carry synergy, which is how well the player can work with their AD carry to better the level of individual performance. And initiation skills, which is how well the player can force advantageous fights. So you may notice if you watch my AD carry video that I had support synergy as a large factor of AD carries, and AD carry synergy is a medium factor of supports. That's because I feel like the synergy between the bot laners is more important to the AD carry's performance than it is to the support's performance. So getting into the small factors, we have roaming, which is how well the player is able to generate advantages through endeavors and other lanes, and laning, which is how well the player is able to generate advantages in lane through outplaying the opposing bot laners. Okay, so getting into the rankings, we have at 10th place, Big, with 1.75 points. His top 3 champions in 2018 were Tahm Kench with 3 wins and 3 losses with a 2.58 KDA, Braum with 4 wins, 0 losses, and a 1.75 KDA, and Zilean with 1 win, 1 loss, and a 9.00 KDA. Now, he showed some success on mage supports like Morgana and Zilean in addition to his tank play, but we haven't really seen that much. He played with Arrow last year, but they were one of the worst bot lanes in the LCS, so even though they have prior experience with one another, I don't really think that it's going to be too helpful for their synergy with one another. He has no obvious strengths as a player. He's not really a great laner. He didn't really roam that much, not a superb initiator. But perhaps a different support meta or another year of experience will help improve his play. As a fun fact, he placed the second most wards per minute at 1.51 of supports in North America last summer. So I gave him the 9th highest floor, the lowest ceiling for a base score of 1.5, a versatility of 0.5, AD carry synergy of 0, initiation skills of 0, roaming of 0, laning of 0, with no bonus for a total of 1.75. Now, moving into 9th place, we have Vulcan with 2.25 points. His top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 4 wins, 6 losses, and a 4.94 KDA. Tahm Kench with 5 wins, 4 losses, and a 4.80 KDA. And Alistair with 4 wins, 3 losses, and a 5.19 KDA. So he played almost exclusively tank supports last year, which was the meta, as you'll see with everybody's top champions, but it still shows that he has a preference for that type of meta. He's had success laning with Piglet in Academy, however they are untested against LCS level bot lanes, so this year we'll see how they're able to perform against bot lanes that have a little bit more skill across the board. He showed some solid laning abilities in Academy, which should somewhat transition to the LCS, though obviously not the same level. I gave him a bonus 0.5 points as he's a rookie in the LCS whose performance should develop as he gets experience against higher level competition. And as a fun fact, last summer he had the highest KDA with 5.7 in the North American Challenger Series among supports who played 10 or more games. So I gave Vulcan the lowest floor, the second lowest ceiling for a base score of 1.5. A versatility of 0, AD carry synergy of 0.25, initiation skills of 0, roaming of 0, laning of 0.25, and a 0.5 bonus, which brought his total to 2.25. Moving into 8th place, we have Hakuho with 4 points. His top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 4 wins, 5 losses, and a 2.63 KDA, Tahm Kench with 3 wins, 6 losses, and a 1.35 KDA, and Thresh with 6 wins, 2 losses, and a 5.07 KDA. So Hakuho is showing a preference for tank supports, but should obviously play his staple Thresh regardless of meta. If the meta shifts away from tank supports, he might be a bit worsened in his ability to play. He has proven synergy with Apollo, but they were far from the greatest bot lane last year. They definitely had some decent highs though, so they weren't quite as bad as Big and Arrow. And he's a respectable engager and could probably abuse his synergy with Apollo to get lane leads early in spring, but outside that doesn't have any obvious strengths as a support. And as a fun fact, he had the highest damage per minute with 207 and cleared the most wards per minute with 0.48 of supports in North America last summer. So I gave Hakuho the 8th highest floor, the 8th highest ceiling for a base score of 3, a versatility of 0.5, AD carry synergy of 0.25, initiation skills of 0.5, roaming of 0, laning of 0.25, and an extra of 0, which brought his total to 4 points. Moving into 7th place, we have JayJ at 5 points. JayJ's top 3 champions in 2018 were Alistair with 8 wins, 6 losses, and a 2.54 KDA. Braum with 7 wins, 5 losses, and a 2.82 KDA. And Tom Kent with 5 wins, 2 losses, and a 3.50 KDA. Now JayJ played some Morgana and Janna in addition to the meta tanks, but looked best on the tanks. So perhaps if a meta swings away from tanks, he's going to look a bit worse, but he did show some ability to play some other stuff. He worked alongside Wild Turtle to help push FlyQuest into the playoffs in summer 2018, so they are coming into 2018 as one of the more proven duos in North America. He's a strong laner, but didn't transition it into many other advantages, such as roaming or initiation, although I did add a bonus 0.5 points as he's a relatively new support who's on the rise. As a fun fact, he had the lowest KP percentage with 59.0 of any support in North America last summer, so it shows he wasn't really helping make a lot of plays around the map. So I gave JayJ the 7th highest floor, the 7th highest ceiling for a base score of 4. I gave him a versatility of 0, AD carry synergy of 0.75, initiation skills of 0, a roaming of minus 0.25, but a laning of 0.5, with a 0.5 bonus brought his total to 5 points, which was good enough for 7th place. Coming in at 6th place, we have Zeyzal with 6.75 points. So Zeyzal's top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 11 wins at 10 losses and a 3.58 KDA, Alistair with 9 wins, 4 losses, and a 3.64 KDA, and Tom Kent with 7 wins, 4 losses, and a 3.58 KDA. Now Zeyzal had success on a wider variety of champions, including going 6-1 on mage supports, so he showed that even in a tank meta, he was able to be a decently versatile support. He has proven synergy with Sneaky against some of the toughest opponents, however, they're one of the weaker laning duos in the LCS, so obviously they've shown that they can play well together, but they're not like gonna stomp you in lane or anything. He prefers a roam heavy style of play, sometimes at the detriment of Cloud9's success bot lane, and he's a solid initiator who I think could show even more with another year of experience. As a fun fact, he has the lowest gold differential at 10 with minus 194, an XP differential at 10 with minus 129, of any support in the North American LCS last summer. So I gave Zeyzal the 6th highest floor, the 6th highest ceiling for a base score of 5. I gave him a versatility of 1, 80 carry synergy of 0.75, initiation skills of 0.5, roaming of 0.75, laning of minus 0.5, with no bonus brought his total to 6.75. Moving into 5th place, we have Smoothie with 8.75 points, so quite a jump. Smoothie's top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 8 wins, 4 losses, and a 4.82 KDA, Alistair with 6 wins, 6 losses, and a 2.35 KDA, and Tom Kent with 5 wins, 6 losses, and a 3.09 KDA. Now Smoothie has shown an ability to succeed on a wide range of supports, but has traditionally preferred more tanky supports, so expect to see a lot more of the tanks, especially if the meta stays that way. on TSM next year. He's one of the supports playing with a new ADC this split, but he should find pretty quick success with Sven, as neither has many obvious weaknesses that could be exploited, so they should work pretty well together pretty quickly. He's one of the few supports who can gain consistent advantages through both laning and roaming, which is one of his biggest advantages, and he's also one of the better initiators, so he's a very versatile player, like in terms of play styles. As a fun fact, he was bottom 4 among LCS supports in both wards placed per minute and wards cleared per minute in both spring and summer split. So, while he may be doing a lot of stuff around the map, don't expect a ton of wards. So I gave him the 5th highest floor, the 5th highest ceiling for a base score of 6. I gave him a versatility of 1, 80 carry synergy of 0.75, initiation skills of 1, roaming of 0.5, laning of 0.5, with no bonus, for a total of 8.75, which was good enough for 5th place, but did not crack the top 4. And coming in at 4th, we have Aphromoo with 9.5 points. Aphromoo's top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 15 wins, 8 losses, and a 3.42 KDA, Alistair with 5 wins, 11 losses, and a 1.89 KDA, and Rakan with 7 wins, 3 losses, and a 4.68 KDA. Now, Aphromoo has succeeded in many metas, but has performed best on playmaking supports like Bard, Morgana, and Thresh. He also generally enjoys a more tanky meta, as it's more focused around late-game playmaking as opposed to early-game laning, which suits his strengths as an elite initiator and roamer, which should also get exemplified even more with his pre-existent synergy with Huhi, who also focuses heavily on roaming. Now, he's a weaker than average laner, which may hold him back against some aggressive laning opponents, as they can kind of suppress his other strengths, especially in a more protective supports meta, where you can't really lead the lane and do a lot of his roaming or initiation skills. As a fun fact, he had the most deaths with 54 of any support in the LCS last summer, so I gave him the 4th highest floor, the 4th highest ceiling for a base score of 7. I gave him a versatility of 0.5, 80 carry synergy of 1, initiation skills of 1.5, roaming of 1, but a laning of -0.5, with no bonus brought his total to 9.5. Now, you may be wondering, this seems a bit low. Aphromoo is one of the better supports in North America, but I think a lot of the strengths he provides are outside of individual performance, and so they show up in a lot of other areas in terms of other player performance and just general team performance. So individually, though, I think he's the 4th best support in North America. Coming in at number 3, we have Biofrost with 12 points. His top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 2 wins, 6 losses, and a 2.74 KDA, Rakan with 4 wins, 2 losses, and a 6.25 KDA, and Alistair with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a 2.60 KDA. Now, Biofrost is very versatile, but prefers playmaking and protective supports, though he's also done decently well on tanks, as can be seen in 2018. He formed arguably the strongest bot lane in North America last year, at least in lane, with Stixxay, and they now have another year to build on their synergy. Biofrost is an excellent laning support, who usually prefers to stay in lane over roaming, so his roaming's decent when he does it, but he doesn't do it very often. As a fun fact, he had the 2nd highest gold differential at 10 with plus 139, and kill percentage with 70.9% of supports in the LCS last summer. So I gave Biofrost a floor of 2 and a ceiling of 3 for a base score of 8.5. I gave him a versatility of 1.5, an 80 carry synergy of 1.5, initiation skills of 0.5, roaming of 0.25, and a laning of the full 1, with no bonus, brought his total to 12 points, which was good enough for 3rd, but not quite good enough for 2nd, which is CoreJJ at 12.25 points. Now, CoreJJ's top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 18 wins, 12 losses, and a 3.94 KDA, Rakan with 16 wins, 13 losses, and a 4.34 KDA, and Tom Kench with 13 wins, 9 losses, and a 4.03 KDA. Now, CoreJJ prefers tank and or protective supports, but has shown success on a decent variety of champions. He's not really your playmaking support, but he's like your support from the back line or tanking up the front line support. As a former world champion, CoreJJ should immediately form a strong duo with one of the most consistent domestic players in North America in double lift. I think that there shouldn't be a lot of barriers to them having success as a duo bot lane. They're both very good players individually. CoreJJ is a very strong player across the board. He should be one of the better laners, one of the better roamers, and one of the better initiators, who has some very good strengths across the board, kind of like Smoothie, but if anything, maybe a little bit more so. As a fun fact, he had the third highest KDA with 3.9, and the second highest KP percentage with 73.8% among supports in the LCK last summer. So I gave CoreJJ the third highest floor, the highest ceiling for a base score of 9. I gave him a versatility of 1.5, AD carry synergy of 1, initiation skills of 1, roaming of 0.5, laning of 0.75, with no bonus, which brought his total to 12.25, which is very good. There weren't really any super outstanding supports. However, the one that I thought stood well above everybody else at the top of the list is none other than Olleh with 12.75 points. Now, Olleh's top 3 champions in 2018 were Braum with 10 wins, 7 losses, and a 2.90 KDA, Tom Kench with 11 wins, 4 losses, and a 3.28 KDA, and Morgana with 8 wins, 2 losses, and a 5.81 KDA. Now, one of Olleh's biggest strengths is he can play every style fairly successfully, though he prefers champions that are strong laners and or playmakers, but he's very versatile. He should look somewhat good with Delphi, as Delphi is a strong controlling laning ADC, but this year will be a much bigger test of Olleh's abilities to carry, as he doesn't have, double lift and Smoothie and all top people in every other position. Now, he's an excellent laner who prefers to suppress his lane over roaming, but he's also a very good initiator later in the game. So he's sort of a bit like Biofrost, but if anything, a bit better kind of across the board. He had the highest gold differential at 10 with plus 143, the highest XP differential at 10 with plus 144, and the highest kill participation percentage with 72.7% of any support in the LCS last summer. So those are some very impressive stats. I gave him the highest floor, the second highest ceiling for a base score of 9.5, a versatility of 2, an AD carry synergy of 0.25, initiation skills of 1, roaming of 0.25, laning of 1, with no bonus, brought his total to 12.75, and that was good enough for first place. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this list and all the other lists I've done. I'm interested to see what you have to say about it, and I can't wait to read your feedback. Stay tuned, as there'll be more to come. I'll be releasing a team's power ranking. I'll be releasing a preview and review video before every North American LCS game day. And I'll also be continuing my Dragon's Digit series and diving into a lot of numerical analysis in the near future. So stay tuned, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.